And to me, this is just the epitome of the show. Leave me alone, or you're going to pay for it. Pure and simple. This sums up the show.
Leave me alone. Let me do things my way. And the other theme is that maybe my way of life is at risk. Maybe it's going away, and maybe we'll never have this again. This is Country Music Dads, the parenting podcast with a twang. We're bringing you highly subjective, sometimes questionable, but always 100% authentic country music analysis, as only two dads in the trenches of modern parenting can do it. My name is Dave, and I'm a country music dad.
My name is Mick, and I'm also a country music dad. And as always, thank you for joining us. Today, in anticipation of the release of Yellowstone Season 5, Part 2, which is due out on November 10th, Dave and I felt compelled to put together what is, in our mind, the ultimate Yellowstone playlist. And this was a challenge because if you have spent any time watching the Yellowstone show over the years, the quality of music that they run through that series has been amazing. But before we head out to Big Sky Country, Dave, how are things with you? I feel like I haven't talked to you for a little while.
I know. What a shame.
That is a shame.
Yeah. Things are pretty good. I guess life's been full with school and everything.
Not busy, full. Just make sure our
I
listeners
know.
understand that difference.
So tempted. I'm so tempted to
I'm really,
say
that is a
busy right now.
cognizant, ever since we started that, and courtesy of you, I've really tried to make that a point in my life. And I even go so far as when people say, how are you? And I explain the rationale behind it. So it's working. It's working.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Great to hear. We're recording this in October, so I have Halloween on the mind. Put up some decorations, took the kids to Home Depot and let them pick some stuff out. Now I'm planning the costumes and everything. My kids both want to be ninjas this year. But then my oldest, and that seems easy enough, ninja costume, common. But my oldest specified that he wants to be a ninja with lights all over him. He wants to be a light up ninja.
I was waiting for the quantifiers, those specific, I want to be like a purple ninja, or lights is new. That's it. I've never heard of a...
That sounds like the worst ninja in the world, actually. You're not sneaking up on anybody.
No.
But shout out to my friend and one of our regular listeners, Nick Weiser, who gave me an Amazon link to some
light up ninjas.
String lights. Not light up ninjas. I'll still have to make that happen myself. But he gave me a lead on lights because we share an affinity for putting some costumes together. It's a fun holiday to prepare for, even though it takes some work. So I have it in my blood, I think. My mom used to make all our costumes growing up, and I don't have the skills that she had or the work ethic, basically anything. But I do enjoy some of that and making it happen for him. So light up ninja coming your way.
I'm thinking, so Kate, I don't know what link Nick sent you, but Kate has got these LED lights in her room that you stick on either the wall or the furniture and stuff. And you might be able to like make something like that happen. You know, they run off of a battery pack and you just stick them to the outside of the clothes.
Yeah, I want to look for every option because I'll probably need every option because it probably won't work.
As long as you start early enough, I mean, right? Then it'd be good.
Yeah, that's usually my problem too. I'm kind of a procrastinator. It sneaks up on me.
Yeah, well, that's all of us at times, depending on the...
Yep, so that's what's going on. Little Halloween art projects on my to-do list now.
We just got back from a weekend up at my parents' house. So between Kate, my mother, and my two nieces, we have 4 birthdays within 10 days of each other. So we always try to go up in the month of October to celebrate the October birthdays. As the kids are getting older now, you just never know who's all going to be there. You try to pick the best weekend to get there, but one niece is at college, so she's not coming home. The other niece is a band competition, so she's not home till 1:00 in the morning. My sister and brother-in-law themselves went to family weekend to visit said niece at college. So it was just, we were all able to pull together like at the last minute, but it was just lots of moving parts. But here's what's the funniest thing about that was oftentimes we split up when we go to my folks' place because they downsized a few years ago and they've only got one guest room. And so some of us go over to my sister's house. This was the night that one niece has got the band thing. So she didn't go to the family weekend with her mom and dad and everything. So my sister's like, yeah, you can stay there. And that actually would be great because Megan's not getting home till like 1:00 in the morning and she was going to have to go to mom and dad's. But if some of you are staying there, she can just come home. And so it's like, yeah, no problem. So it was you hear so often the parents waiting up for their kids. But this was a new take because here I was actually like sleeping in the lazy boy, waiting for my niece to get home and check in and make sure that she got home safe and was all right. So it's like the dad hat to the uncle hat doesn't really change very much when it comes to staying up late, waiting for your kids / niece to get home and check out. I just thought that just made me chuckle how it wasn't really a role reversal. I don't even know why I would say it. It wasn't a role reversal at all. It was just a different version of dad life, but uncle life in a different place.
Yeah.
But still,
they can trust you with that responsibility.
Exactly. I'm still my niece. All right, I'm on the couch. Wake me up when you get home. So she comes in, she wakes me up. All right, how'd you do? Oh, we got 3rd place overall.
Back to sleep.
And then I went upstairs and went to bed. But all good, all good. It was a good trip. It was just good to get up there. We usually end with the Farmboy update, but Farmboy update just piggybacks on this trip. And I just was going to knock it out real quick. Driving up to Iowa, it's harvest season. Always enjoy driving on the road, seeing harvest in action. Now it does make it kind of dusty because of all the dust that the combines kick up. When you grow up on a farm, there is just no better feeling than seeing the planting season come to an end with harvest. There's this peaceful aspect to it. It's like, all right, we got the crop out and it's time to start preparing for next year. So that's the Farmboy update. It's harvest season. As you're driving up and down the road, pay attention to the farmers that you see harvesting their crops that are ultimately going to make it to your table and say thank you.
Yeah, good stuff, man. It's good to hear where this is like legit harvest. Everyone's talking about harvest. There's harvest festivals and the harvest moon. And in LA, people try to manufacture that experience for Instagram. You want your kids on a hayride, you want them in front of a big pumpkin in a field somewhere. So there are the spots around the outskirts of LA that everybody goes to on the weekend. And I actually heard some dad complaining about it, we're going to have to drive an hour out to this farm and spend 45 minutes there and then drive an hour back, all just for the pictures.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we can schedule that trip out to the farm. You got to have the pigs.
Is it like such a big thing that you have to like reserve times? Is there like time entry into the Anaheim pumpkin patch, or I just pulled Anaheim out of the air? How far do you have to go? Do you have to go out to Ontario? Like, how far do we have to go here? You know,
this is the one I'm thinking about. It's called Underwood Family Farms in Moore Park.
Okay.
North LA County.
Gotcha. Do you still have to book a time? You never really answered that. Is it that scheduled because so many people? No,
I can't remember if you need a reservation, actually. So I might
that
be out
would
of
be
luck.
so LA. Get a reservation for a pumpkin patch.
There's definitely a long line to get in.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So just had a
Anyway,
curiosity. I got one more. Okay. How much does it cost to go to a pumpkin patch in LA? Because I know they're not letting you in for free.
Oh no, there's tickets. You got to buy a ticket. I can't remember how much it costs.
Okay. Fair enough. That's fine.
Spared no expense for the Instagram photo op, though.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Dad Life Soundcheck.
Yes. The song of the week for us is called I Never Lie by Zach Top. So Zach Top he's been doing really well on the country charts lately. He's this young guy who has a definite 90s country
Vibe.
feel and style to him. So he's real popular, got a great Gen Z mustache. My kids love I Never Lie. One line in a song will really catch their attention, and sometimes it's for a surprising reason. So there's one line in his song where he says, I sleep like a baby. And I'm getting like laughs every time that line comes up in the song. Like they want to keep on hearing him say, I sleep like a baby. And it's because in their world, for a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, calling someone a baby is pretty much the worst thing you could call someone.
Mm-hmm.
They hear I sleep like a baby and they're like, what? Why would he call himself a baby? That's funny. That's one reason. And then my 6-year-old, I also use this song to teach him about irony, because the whole song he's talking about, he's making all these statements about how he's not sad that his girl left him, but he's actually just saying a bunch of things that are not true. Like, I sleep like a baby. I never come to work late. I don't drink whiskey. And so when I revealed to my son that actually those are all lies, even though he says, I never lie, just you could see the light bulb just go off. Oh, now he gets it. And I personally just love this kind of song because I think it's just funny and clever. There's like lots of songs that are kind of like this. Like George Jones has one called She Thinks I Still Care. And Keith Whitley has one called I'm Over You. And I just think they're clever and funny. And so it was fun for my son to realize the meaning behind it and kind of get the joke. So that was a cool thing to share.
Awesome.
Also, that term, I sleep like a baby, it means that like you slept really well.
I know where you're going with this.
Just thinking about that, it doesn't make any sense. Like babies are always waking up. They're always waking me up. My baby sleeps really well, but I think he's the exception though.
They go in spurts though. Depends on if they're teething or if they're like potty training or colicky, or just it goes in spurts. You know, some really do, but others, yeah, you're sleep deprived for a reason as a parent. For some of them.
Yes.
So it's just, yeah, absolutely. The song I wanted to talk about may or may not have come out before you were born. It's been around for a while. Actually, it was released in 1981 by Barbara Mandrell. And it's called I Was Country When Country Wasn't Cool. This was a big hit for her. It's been went all the way to the top of the chart for a couple weeks, and it's been her signature song. But the reason I heard it on the radio the other day, and the reason I wanted to mention it is because there's been such a migration lately of artists coming into the country music genre. Now, I'm not saying it's better for worse. Personally, I think it's great because music is music. You get to make the kind of music you want. And I don't think people should get pigeonholed into, specific styles. Just like recently, we got Beyonce and Shabuzi and Post Malone. They're all coming in to country music. And, I'm not going to have the debate as to whether these people are singing real country or not, because everyone's got their own opinion on that. But just hearing the song on the radio made me think about just the influx of how popular country is today, that artists like Post Malone are wanting to create in that space. So I thought it was cool. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, country's definitely having a moment right now, which is interesting. Lainey Wilson has a song called Country's Cool Again.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about Yellowstone. Lainey was in Yellowstone. She was making guest appearances as an actress in Yellowstone. And this kind of a similar theme, I think. Country's Cool Again, but like the more modern take on it. Yeah, everyone's doing country.
What's Hardy doing?
Hardy, believe it or not, I heard him singing a country song. And
No way.
I know. Speaking of people that cross over, he surprised me. So during the Hardy Report, as the premier West Coast Hardy apologist, I like to explain whatever is going on with Hardy lately. And I noticed he made an appearance at this big concert that Miranda Lambert put on that she called Mutt Nation. I think it was raising money for adopting dogs or for sheltered dogs or something like that. And he was up there on stage. He shared this video on Instagram of him on stage with Miranda singing this song that he said was one of the first songs that he wrote as he was getting his songwriting career going. And it's an unreleased song. It's called Dog Years, that he's teasing that he might release a version at some point. But it's one that he wrote a long time ago. And it's like this kind of ballady love song. And Miranda was singing kind of backup vocals for him. And again, it's just with all the hard rock stuff that Hardy's doing and the screaming, it's become a surprise for me to hear him singing a ballad with Miranda Lambert. So for anyone that was hoping that Hardy would leave the country music scene, I think it's clear he's not going anywhere. He's going to keep on circling back to his bread and butter and his fan base. Seeing him on stage with Miranda also just reminded me, part of the reason that I like Hardy, and I think a lot of people like Hardy, is that he kind of shows up 100% himself. He's got the glasses. He usually wears shorts.
Some type of a hockey jersey or something.
Yeah, he's wearing a sports jersey. Just an interesting looking dude. And he's up there with Miranda, this very beautiful person with a beautiful voice. And I see that. I'm reminded of the different standards that male country singers and female country singers have to live up to. Hardy's he doesn't have the greatest voice, but yet here he is with Miranda Lambert singing. So anyway, good for him, because I am a fan. But it's always it's interesting to see. It is.
Something else that's interesting to see. I got a sick child here today.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Making sure we definitely got the at-home and the at-home parenting gig today. So we had to take a little break because somebody needed proof that they got their green light on reflex math before they can have any iPad turn. So there you go, babe. Yeah. Oh, you need the iPad. That's right. That's the school iPad. Here's your iPad. Okay. So enjoy. All right. Yeah, she's been home. This is day number 2 of being home. Something's going around. She had a fever yesterday. It started 2 nights ago. I'm not feeling good. I woke up, fever in the morning, spiked at 103 around noonish. And our school's policy is 24 hours fever free. And even if she had felt great this morning, she just needs to get some rest. Just needs to get some rest.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the hammer to drop any day now.
There's something going around our school. I think 5 kids in her class were gone. That's ouch. It's like 30% of the class. Not quite.
Yeah.
Anyway, still, she's doing better though, so that's good. All right, we ready to talk some Yellowstone?
Let's do it.
All right. This is going to be a little bit different for us. The Ultimate Yellowstone playlist is going to not necessarily have a parenting connotation. It might. Some of the songs do, but that's not the litmus test for the songs that Dave and I have selected. We really wanted to focus on songs that we identified with in one way, shape, or form. And because Dave's got a song or two more than myself, I'm going to have him get it started.
Yeah, for anyone who's watched Yellowstone, you know that music's a big part of it. And the creators very intentionally selected music from up-and-coming artists, and they curate a really good mix of country music, some of which you might have heard before, and a lot of it that you probably haven't heard before watching the show. So I know that the show has given some of these up-and-coming artists bumps in listenership and streaming and everything, which is a really cool effect. With the new season coming up, it's been off the air for a while, so I've used this as an excuse to get myself prepared for the season or the series finale. Really, it's the last episodes of this version of Yellowstone. The first song I want to share is by Chris Stapleton. I know many people have heard of Chris Stapleton. He's a big star. The song's called Whiskey and You. In the show, it's one of those final scenes of an episode, and a lot of the songs that I picked were like the final scene because it gives you an image that kind of sticks with you as the episode's ending. So Whiskey and You is playing as John Dutton is walking out of his house from a very contentious family dinner with his kids, and he's starting to realize that he's not sure what he's going to do passing along the family business. He's looking out on the landscape in front of him, and he's thinking about his wife. A lot of emotions going on in this scene. I think it's a very haunting song. It also happens to be a song that I used to sing as a lullaby to my two older sons. One in a very long list of inappropriate lullabies that I used to and still sing to my kids.
I used to sing kids my rugby songs.
Oh yeah. What's a rugby song?
You don't want to know?
Oh.
Most of them fall into the inappropriate category.
Okay. I could see that. So yes, Chris Stapleton kicking it off. Kind of my criteria for the songs that I picked. I tried to think back to some of the scenes from the show that kind of left an indelible image in my mind, or were powerful scenes where the music helped to set the tone. What was your criteria for the songs you picked?
Some of them were the way they balanced with the cinematography. Others were just really good songs that I'm watching the show and I'm just, oh, that's a good one.
So what's the first one you'd like to share?
The first one I would like to share is probably one of the most popular artists that seems to permeate through the Yellowstone soundtrack, for lack of a better way to call it. A lot of people will say they're not country. It's Blackberry Smoke is the artist. And a lot of times, a lot of people will say they're more of a Southern rock. Fine. I don't care. Southern rock and country in my world bleed together. And the crossover is just irrefutable. But the song I'm going to start with is Sleeping Dogs by Blackberry Smoke. And to me, this is just the epitome of the show. Leave me alone, or you're going to pay for it. Pure and simple. This sums up the show.
The next song I'll talk about is kind of along the same themes, because the leave me alone, let me do things my way. And the other theme is that maybe my way of life is at risk. Maybe it's going away, and maybe we'll never have this again. So the song's called Last of My Kind by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit. That kind of a message that gets always kind of following around John Dutton's character, that, you know what, all the traditions that he grew up with, those traditions might not make it down to the next generation, or there's forces in the world that might be threatening his way of life. And so there's kind of a mournful quality to a lot of the scenes with the patriarch. I mean, there's a mournful quality to lots of Jason Isbell songs. He writes a lot of real sad songs.
He's got the voice for that, though.
Yeah, speaking of songs that just can stop you,
yeah,
an artist who can stop you in your tracks when you hear his voice. That's what this one did to me. He definitely has that very powerful ability to get you into the feels.
So to piggyback off of that theme is Garrett Bradford's This Way of Life. Very similar, just talking about how the old men say you got to get to town because this way of life's not going to be around anymore. Garrett's just like, that's all I know. So you go do what you want to do, but I'm still going to be here. And it's just very much one of the constant themes of the Yellowstone series is to protect this way of life. And I just thought this song was just a good representation of that. And it's a theme that I, as our listeners know from some of our previous episodes, this is a theme that I, because of my upbringing, clearly identified with. I'm the Iowa farm boy, and I have a very deep love and admiration for the lifestyle that the heartland of America symbolizes. Being a cowboy, farming, ranching, that's just core to it.
Do you think that's a feeling that is unique to a country lifestyle, of a farmer or a rancher? Or do you think it's just like something about getting older and reminiscing on the way that you grew up or how things used to be?
Probably a little bit of both. I think we all reminisce about our learned behavior or our learned life lessons. Let's just take like a firefighter in Boston of Irish heritage, maybe. That's the life they know. That's what their great-grandfather did. And that's what, is just symbolic of their core. So I don't think it necessarily matters the where or the why, because it's just what you hold dear and true to yourself. But it does change over time. And then there is an age thing. You use the word reminiscing. That's powerful too.
Yeah, I'm seeing and reading a bunch of things about how parents are kind of longing to bring up their kids the way that they were brought up, and remembering how, when we were kids, we would ride our bikes to school by ourselves when we were really young, or our parents would just let us go roam the neighborhood until dark and just come back in time for dinner or whatever. That seems to be lost in this generation, where I think parents are much more protective of their kids. And I think definitely in like an urban environment like I live in, there's kind of this tension where we grew up a certain way where felt like we had more freedoms as kids. And then we're challenging ourselves. Am I okay with letting my kids have the same type of freedom to roam the neighborhood or to be independent? I'm seeing things written about that topic. You can start to relate to that theme, even in an urban environment. I'm thinking, things used to feel safer. You could let your kids roam around, and it doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
No, it doesn't, which is unfortunate. You'll hear some people say that the world's the same. We just know about it more. And I don't know if I believe that or not, to be quite honest. That's another discussion for another day. But I get what you're saying, and I've seen it too.
So I'll change gears a little bit with my next song. It's called Pearl Snaps by Jason Boland and the Stragglers. It was featured in a scene when Jimmy was making his rodeo debut. And Pearl Snaps is one of those songs that is just purely, for me, an escapism tune, because I've never even been to a rodeo, actually, although I'd like to.
Really?
Someday. Yeah, I have not.
You need to... You just need to go to Vegas don't just go to a rodeo. You need to just go big. You're close enough. You can be in Vegas in what, 3-4 hours? I'm guessing. I don't know. You just need to go to the finals.
Oh yeah. You don't have to twist my arm to go to Vegas, Mick. I love going to Vegas. And you're right. Every December they have this massive rodeo. I don't even know what it's called.
It's the National Finals Rodeo. It's the national championships.
Kim's birthday is in December, so we've been to Vegas in December a lot. And more recently, there's tons of country shows in Vegas during those few weeks of the National Finals.
Yeah, because it's a 10-day event. Because there's 10 rounds.
There's some great acts out there.
Yeah.
It's almost like to the point where we're like making plans. Like, we should just do this every year. It's fun. But one of those years we'll actually go to some of the events at the rodeo. And I'll peel myself away from the blackjack tables. Just for a little while.
Anything else on Pearl Snaps?
Pearl Snaps, it's a good time and tune. I saw Jason Boland out here in LA, actually, at this like really small, divey venue called the Venice West. And it was awesome, because there's probably 30 people in the room. And Jason Boland, he's big out in Texas and Oklahoma. So it was cool to see him. Played this one. And it's just so far from the world of Pearl Snap shirts out here in Venice, but yeah, it's nice to imagine.
No, that's a good song. It's a fun tune. All right, so the next song I'm going to mention probably does not fall under the category of a fun tune. The song is called Far From Home by Aubrey Sellers. The first time I heard it just the way the song is constructed, it just got to me. And I don't even know how to describe it. it's almost something like you would hear somebody playing that would have a bagpipe accompaniment with. It's just got that haunting feel to it. And I like music that just gets me all the way into my bones. And this song does that. The reason it works for the show is it's an end credit song in season 5. And I kind of talked about that haunting feel. This song is the one that's played at the end of the episode where they move out to the ranch for the summer and they're getting ready to go do the cattle roundup. This is the one where Beth and Summer have the knockdown, drag out fight out in the yard where it ruins the family meal and everything. But the drama in this particular episode it's different. It's different drama. Yeah, there's punches thrown, and it's kind of like you see stuff being set up for the end of the last few episodes. And that's why this song works at the end of the episode, because you can just tell as the cowboys are riding away off into the mountains to raise the cattle, you can just tell that the gonna fly. But it's a beautiful song. It is a beautiful song.
Haunting is a good word for this one.
Yeah.
And you're totally right. There's another one of those songs that just stop and, wow, who is this?
And I didn't know this before because I've never heard of this young lady until the show, but she's Leanne Womack's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Nice.
I didn't know until I looked her up.
Okay. Next song on my list is by Tyler Childers, Lady May. And this one, it's one of the scenes with Rip and Beth. They're in front of the barn, kind of having a moment out under the lights. The Rip and Beth story, it's not my favorite storyline, but the song is a definite favorite.
This song works well for their relationship. It may not be your favorite, but it works for it.
You got to have something like that to create some tension there. It's a fan favorite song for Childers. So that was one that during the show, that song came on. I'm like, oh, nice. They picked one of his hits to throw in there.
My next couple songs are going to kind of piggyback on the songs that kind of embody a relationship. I really like the song All I See Is You by Shane Smith and the Saints. And you guys have heard me talk about how I really, really feel about my wife and how without her, I would feel lost. She just brings everything together and just oftentimes gives me the sense of purpose. And that's what this song is just about. It's about the depth of love between two people. And no matter what's going on, he just comes back to thinking about her.
What I like about this one, when I think of a love song, I usually think like something slow and mellow, like Lady May, ballady. This song is a banger of a love song.
Yeah.
I'm sure this is like high energy, and I think that's a cool direction to take a love song.
And it's sung very well.
So I'll lump two songs together because they're in the same category, rousing party songs. The first is Drunken Poet's Dream by Hayes Carl. It accompanies one of the many parties they have in the bunkhouse. I got to see Hayes Carl perform this one out here in LA.
Oh, that's right. You
small venue.
You just recently saw him.
Yeah. So I actually put him performing Drunken Poet's Dream on our Instagram. And it's a great song. The other one, felt like we had to have a Lainey Wilson song since she is in the show. And so Hold My Halo is one that is another high energy, just fun, clever song. And she performed that one as her character in the show in season 5. So yeah, just, the same theme. A lot of the reason that I watch Yellowstone is for escapism. This is like a window into this world of ranching that I have no idea about. I wrote an article for Whiskey Riff a while back where I said that watching Yellowstone is like having an adult WubbaNub. You know what a WubbaNub is? They probably didn't have these for your kids when they were
See, when you
babies,
say
but
that, I'm thinking of our last episode with the Whoopi.
yeah, it's kind of similar. The WubbaNub, it's a pacifier that's attached to a little stuffy, and it's magical because the baby can he's got the pacifier and this thing to grab onto, and it's a magical device. All 3 of my kids 100% success. They love their WubbaNubs. And that's how I feel about Yellowstone. I turn it on and it brings me comfort.
Comfort is good.
It is.
Comfort is good. All right. My next song is, I guess you could say it's about comfort too, but it's another love song. No Horse to Ride by Luke Grimes, otherwise known as Casey. Felt we needed to honor, just like you honored Lainey, I thought we needed to honor one of the main actors. Now, you can make an argument, and I know you and I talked about this, by getting some Bingham in here, but just so our listeners know, there's a reason we didn't, and that will be coming hopefully in a month or two. We had a plan for that. We just hope it all comes together, but we got a plan for that. But this song is very similar to the Didn't Have Anything Until I Had You, just the relationship status, everything that's good that happens is because of your partner. He just talks about being lost, talks about being a drunk without a drink, or a guitar without a string, or got a line in there where he talks about a train running out of tracks. I don't know. But I always seem to gravitate to songs that remind me of why I got married, why I started a family. And I look back on those times. I look back at my life now and it's, God damn, where would I be if I didn't? What would my life look like if all these other things didn't happen? So that's why No Horse to Ride speaks to me.
Luke Grimes is such an unlikely country singer because I think like literally he's an actor, played a cowboy on TV, and then just decided I'm going to go make country music now. And it's not bad. The song, this is a good song.
No, it is. It's a short, little catchy song, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. It almost seems like, he's starring next to Ryan Bingham. He's seeing Bingham do the jack of all trades. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's an actor, does it all. And he's like, oh, I want to be like that guy. And so he's following in Bingham's footsteps. My next one is along the same theme of escapism. It's called Cowpoke by Coulter Wall. And it accompanies this scene where the cowboys are all trying to break some of the horses. And it's a very chill song. And have you listened to any Coulter Wall, Mick?
I've not sat down and listened to him per se, but he pops up on some of my different Pandora or Spotify feeds.
He's got such a unique voice. He just sounds like he's from another time or another era. And he's a legit cowboy too. He's actually from Canada, from ranching country out in the middle of Canada. But this song it's got a harmonica in it, and it's also a little bit haunting, but you can just imagine the images that come to mind are you're out in the wilderness in the middle of nowhere. It's a good one. Coulter, I want to try and see him live one of these days. He doesn't tour that much, but I got to make a point of it. He played in Vegas once. That was this close. This close. Maybe he'll come back.
There you go. Maybe he'll come back during the finals turn. Yeah, you can only hope. I got two more. One I can do really quickly. It falls into the honorable mention category. Chess by Danny Rose. We've talked about this one before, so I'm not going to go into any details, but it's a good song for the show. My last song is probably with the best parenting connotation to it. And it's a song called Goodbye Yesterday by Billy Joe Shaver. And this song comes up in a scene, it's way back from the first season. And it's where, I think it's like the second episode of the first season. But it's played during the two different simultaneous scenes. One, Dutton's going to visit the grave of the son that he just, and then two, Casey's sitting there reading a book to Tate. So you kind of see the fatherhood angle of the song, Goodbye Yesterday. And the whole purpose of the song is, unless you let go of the past, you can't move forward. And he's right. You got to honor the past. You got to remember the past, but you can't dwell in the past. Some of the lines he talks about: goodbye yesterday, goodbye dreams I won't be dreaming, goodbye memories of a love I thought was true. Goodbye reasons why I cried all night and wish I could die. Goodbye yesterday, yesterday, goodbye. That's the whole second verse. And it's just oftentimes those are the things that just hold us back. You can't move forward until you're ready to move forward by not being shackled by your past. So that's why I thought this was kind of the strongest parenting song.
The last one I was going to share, it's Summertime Blues by Zach Bryan. He is another one of the artists that made an appearance on stage in the show. His band was playing at this fair or festival that the whole crew went out to. And he's playing this song as Lainey Wilson's character is walking away because she realizes her love interest, one of the cowboys, I forget what his name is, but he's deciding he's going to go to Texas, which is kind of where season 5 left off. The whole crew was going off to Texas, taking the cattle down to Texas. And he's choosing that because that's his passion, is being a cowboy. And he's choosing that over Lainey's character. So it's a kind of a heartbreaking scene and a challenging scene. And similar to the song is kind of a self-loathing, sad country song, opining about loneliness. And as summer here in LA is coming to a close, October is almost like the second summer. I felt like that song was a good one for Yellowstone to end its mid-season hiatus on. Good one to end the summer on also, I think. As I'm sad that summer's ending. I like the summer.
So do I. I don't like to be cold. Yeah. All right, so there you have it. Just like summertime's ending, this playlist of the ultimate Yellowstone songs has to come to an end also. We hope you're able to find some new artists to listen to like we did through the show. Be sure to check some of them out as you prepare for season 5, part 2 on November 10th.
Yeah, I know there's so many to pick from, so please let us know, whether it's a comment on Instagram or a message or an email to countrymusicdads@gmail.com. Let us know your favorites from the show and let us know what we missed.
And if you think we did a good job on this, share it with your friends and give us a positive rate and review on whatever podcast platform you use.
All right, until next time.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening.
I was clearly the dad guy in the room.
It's just been so much going on. It goes back to the whole, I have no fucking clue how dinks, or what's the opposite? What's like double income load of kids? Is there an acronym for that?
DISC. Double income load of kids.
Yeah. There you go. Feel like they got a disc rolling over me.